Well, I wanted to talk to my Facebook friends again today. I, um, as I said in my uh, little message that's attached to this video, today is T minus 4, meaning I have 4 days until my factory gets shut down and Paul Stephen, my son's factory, takes over. That's a metaphor for the transplant I like to use. Uh, I'm going to get his blood system. Imagine getting the blood of a 24-year-old. I'm really going to be robust if this works. Uh, I'm attached to my little pole buddy here. I don't know if I've shown you this in another video, but everywhere I go, that little pole has to go with me. It's attached to this little cord. That's attached to my body up here. And well, that's not really what I want to talk to you about. I've been going through the Gospel of Matthew, and I wanted to share a thought with you that came to mind. It's one of my favorite parts of the Bible. So today I got all the way through Matthew chapter 13. And in Matthew 13, verses, I think it's 44 and 45, the Lord tells two parables in two verses. And they're two of my all-time favorite parables. One of them is about a man who finds treasure that's buried in a field. And so in his great joy, he goes and he sells everything he has and he buys that field. And then the Lord follows it up with the parable of a merchant who is looking for fine pearls. And when he finds one of greatest value, he goes out and he sells everything he has in order to obtain this pearl of great price. So again, the Lord uses two examples of what the kingdom of heaven is like. It's like a man searching for treasure. He finds his buried treasure in a field. He buries again. He goes out and sells everything he has. And with great joy, he obtains that field, and then the same thing with the pearl of great price. So the question you have to ask yourself is, when you give up anything or everything for treasure buried in a field, is that a tough thing or an easy thing? Or if you find the pearl of greatest value and you sell everything you have, obtain that pearl, it seems like, well, maybe you're giving something up, you're selling everything you have, but no, you're getting the pearl of greatest value. And that's what the kingdom of heaven is. And I can tell you, as I go through my own struggle with chemotherapy and the factory getting shut down, it seems difficult in the moment, but it really isn't all that difficult because I've obtained the pearl of greatest value. So if the worst thing happens and I die during this process, I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. If that happens, well, I've obtained the pearl of greatest value. So um, absent from the body, present with the Lord. And if I stay around, oh my goodness, I have so many things I want to do for kingdom purposes. So that's a great privilege as well. So either way, I can't lose. And I think everyone, whether you're healthy at this moment or not healthy, has that great joy as a believer that you have found the pearl of greatest value. I just got done with my chemo, and it kind of always makes me a little, I feel like I'm living on the borderland of nausea or queasiness, and a little weak. Every day is going to be weaker. I know what's coming up. My counts are going to eventually go down to 0, and then I'll be the weakest, but to the extent that I have the strength, I'd love to visit with you and talk to my friends that have been with me on the journey, part of our CRI wonderful family, Christian Research Institute, the Bible Answer Men broadcast, the Hank Unplugged podcast, our 24/7 outreaches, as I like to say. Um, I've had the most wonderful messages as a result of doing the sort of impromptu video yesterday. That prompted me to want to do it today as well. One came from Athens, Greece. Uh, Someone, I won't mention the name, but someone I don't really know, but someone that watched the video yesterday and said that they would be praying for me. And I can't tell you what it means when you go through difficult circumstances to know that God's people are praying for you. Again, don't know how people go through it without the prayers of family and friends, but I don't have to experience that because I have incredible prayer support for which I'm deeply grateful. Well, I don't want to ramble on too long, but want to share Matthew 44 and 45. You may want to read it for yourself. Matthew 13, verses 44 and 45. There's some fantastic parables. You know, this habit of telling parables that the Lord had was to fulfill all prophecy, and you read about that in Matthew 13 as well, because Christ was prophesied as a teller of parables. And sometimes you have to figure out what the parable means. At other times, Jesus gives you the explanation. So if you read through passages like Matthew 12 and Matthew 13, you'll see that. I hope you'll do that. Enjoy the Word of God. It is food for the soul, just as I'm getting chemo for the body. So long for now. Thanks for your prayers and support. I think about you, even though when I say you, I'm talking about the collective you every day, and thank the Lord for you. Sometimes I don't know who you are individually, a lot of times I do, but I thank the Lord for you and for your prayers, for your support, and I pass those prayers on to the Lord as well, praying for you as you pray for me, upholding one another. That's what friends in the faith do. So long for now.